Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm on day 2 of the dry fasting retreat and day 4 of my dry fast. And I came here after getting Lyme's in July of 2023, and the antibiotics that they gave me did not work, and so I started to experience symptoms of the Lyme's very shortly after I had the classic bullseye on my back, so my wife saw it. And from that moment, went into a deep fever and night sweats for a couple of days, went to the emergency room. And that's where I was diagnosed with Lyme's, and they gave me the antibiotics. And then I went in 10 weeks later and found that those did not work. And I did not want to put antibiotics into my body. But it seemed like the only course of action, and from that point went into kind of holistic health remedies, acupuncture, chiropractic work. I eat healthy already. I eat a very healthy diet, mostly vegetarian, and started to experience the symptoms, the neurological symptoms in my fingertips, and kind of a pulsating feeling down my arms and my legs, and decided to do some more research. And my wife and I both kind of went at the research, and we looked at Western medicine and all the alternatives. So I've taken more herbs than you can imagine. And when my fatigue started to set in, maybe a couple of months after the initial Lyme's diagnosis, then I knew that I needed to do something about this in a more significant way. And I think it was my wife, I can't remember, but I think she uncovered Michelle Slater's book, and I read it from cover to cover in one day and decided to look further into Doctor Filonov and this methodology of dry fasting, and consulted with Dr. Filonov and Sveta, and decided that I would take this approach. And I can't say enough about the 21-day program. I did it to the T. My wife is Eastern European, and so she enjoyed all of the different recipes, and she actually did the 21-day program with me. So the 2 days of water fasting and the 3 days of dry fasting she did with me. And I started to develop a real commitment to completely healing. And so that's why I'm here. And I think the 21-day program really prepared me to come in, although on day 4 of dry fasting, I've kind of pushed an edge. I'm really grateful for the Yoga Nidra and learning how to rest and the different techniques that you get in the 21-day program that really sets you up for success in this 9-day dry fast. I feel confident, very confident, having done the morning yoga and having done the meditation and the lectures, that I will complete this 9 days. But it is really one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. And I will continue to follow the directions. I've been deeply humbled by the process. I have a long life to live. At 53 years old, I feel like I'm just getting started, so this tick bite, this Lyme's really threw me. Just resigned from my professional position of 25 years and went into business full-time as an entrepreneur, and then tick bite. And so I'm really looking forward to healing, getting my energy back, and completing this 9-day fast. So I am all in, and I really, really appreciate the expertise that's here, the therapists that are here, the doctors that's here, all the support you have, and the really beautiful community that's here that's doing the same thing with you. I feel like I've got people around me that are in this with me, and I feel so supported. So My mouth is dry right now, and even being directed not to speak while I'm here is very challenging. But I have been doing that as much as I possibly can so that I can preserve the moisture in my mouth and also go deep inside. That's probably one of the biggest surprises since starting this fast is when you close your mouth and you tune out the external world and you go inside. These organs that we're detoxifying and cleansing hold so much history, more so than I ever thought that I would touch. And so it is a physical detoxification and fasting, but I didn't think that I'd be fasting from certain emotions and fasting from my mind and fasting from some of my deeply entrenched patterns of behavior. And I get to experience myself in a new way. And I really thought I knew who I was. I thought that I kind of had life, and there's so much more to go, so much deeper you can go. This is truly a medicine that I believe in, and I'm really grateful, and I'm appreciating just what I get to heal here. Makes me hopeful for my life, and what I will offer is my gift and offering to humanity, more than I ever thought that I had inside me. So, is that enough? Hi, I'm on day 3 of the retreat, and I'm on day 5 of my fast. And I started my fast while I was traveling. So my first day of fasting started the night on the plane over. And it's one of those long international flights where they feed everybody like 3 or 4 times. And I'm definitely going to eat that food on the way home, or I'm going to eat the healthy parts of that food on the way home. I'm being told I'm not going to be eating that food on the way home, but I've been drinking lots of water. And today's been a rough day. I didn't sleep much last night, and I entered into a pretty significant rough spot. Felt like one of these crisis points in the fasting where my mind started to talk to me about what am I doing and giving up. And I know that I won't, but the mind can play tricks on you when you're in this dry fasting space. I've never gone 5 days without food or water in my life. And so I truly was in an experience that I've never had as a human being. And it can be scary to go into this place. And again, the 21-day program and the Yoga Nidra and all of the techniques that I was taught, I applied. And I think that if I were to do it again, I'd spend more time in meditation, more time in that spot that is who I am. And I would have practiced more just the mind when it comes in. I'm a seasoned meditator, but something about the body starving and being depleted of water takes you to a place that's unlike any other that I've experienced in terms of living life and having your pains and sufferings and things you go with as you're evolving as a human being. This one is new, and this one is as challenging as it gets. I'm hopeful, though. I decided that I would write to the group that I was struggling, and several people got back to me with encouragement and with techniques that have worked for them. And I'm one that will learn from others and what has been successful for them. And so been applying that throughout the day. And in terms of healing, just in my good moments, I just love my body, and I appreciate my body for what it can withstand. And I want to live a long life, and I want to live a healthy life. It's interesting to be a healthy person in mind, body, and spirit, and still to have an experience like this where your body gets Lyme's and to feel the symptoms of Lyme's disease. And to, in the deepest part of me, believe that that tick had a message to give me, and that this illness was purely to correct some deep things that need to be corrected. I can already feel the up-leveling and the man that's emerging from this experience. Out of the ashes the phoenix rises, and I can feel myself rising. And I'm a men's coach, and I'm an intimacy, and I'm a love coach by profession. And I teach that relationships are the deepest medicine that one can encounter as they're evolving and growing up. And this is a profound medicine, this dry fasting. And some of the other really beautiful things that have happened for me are I really, truly appreciate water as this just gorgeous living force in this universe. And I will never not appreciate water. And every time I bring it to my lips, or every time I shower it, or I'm going to dive in the ocean before this is all over. And I think I'm going to swim in this little river just to get into this little river that I want to drink every drop of. And I appreciate the air and what it's providing for me. Just every breath of air moisturizes my body. And I appreciate people. I'm really experiencing this shedding. My organs are cleaning. My body is purging and cleaning. And I'm just feeling grateful right now. And this notion of suffering that's coming up, they say that, or I've learned that you can feel pain, but you don't have to suffer. And that's kind of one of the medicinal, one of the places that I'm kind of playing with here is, okay, it's uncomfortable, it's really painful to dry fast and to go without water or food for 9 days. But you don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer as much. And so for those of you who may try this, and for those of you who are here, that's kind of one of the things that I'm playing with here and experimenting with here is, can I go through this experience and find that tender place in me and not suffer so much that pain is inevitable and suffering is an option. And last night I was definitely in the suffering. And today and right now I'm more in the uncomfortable pain of it, and even times of feeling just okay. And I'm keeping my vision of the life, the rest of my life. I'm 53, but I feel like I'm just getting started in life. So I want to nip this in the bud. And I'm missing my wife. I'm missing that feminine. You know, I feel the warrior here. For me, I have to be kind of like a warrior and tender with myself. Finding myself, I constantly have got to surrender. Just surrender to the process. And then there's a part of me that comes up and wants to fight the process and wants to push the process away. And I just appreciate the feminine. I appreciate the ocean. So grateful that the rivers and the oceans are here flowing, and the tide is coming in and out, and the waves. And I appreciate the sun, the glorious sun. It was out today for a while, and I got to let the sun shine on my face. And so I live to tell another day. I feel confident that I'll be moving into day 6, taking it moment by moment, day by day, and keeping that, it feels like I can manage that. And when I can't manage that, I can fall apart a little bit. And I can feel just the extraordinary nature of my body healing itself, and my mind healing itself, and my organs healing themselves, and shedding all of the toxins and all of the shit that's been in my body out. Because I have a lot to do, a lot left to do in this world, a lot more love to give to this planet, to my family, to my children, to my people, to this earth. And so, whatever comes in these next 4 days, 4.5 days, I will move through, and I will undoubtedly struggle, but I got so much help here, and I got a really beautiful program. I've been taught all the skills to make it through this 9 days, and I will keep applying them. I'm on day 4 of the retreat and day 6 of the dry fast, and also an exit, a short exit last night, actually shortly after the 5th day. I was in a very, very dark place in my room and had done everything that I've been taught in terms of managing the stress and the dark side of fasting, and drank some water. And it was relieving, but at the same time it was very, very disappointing. And I found out about the dry fasting, less than 2 months ago, and then found out about the retreat as I was searching for a way to heal, and kind of dove into the consultation and the 21-day program. And the one thing that I can say to you is the preparation is so important. I had a lot of zeal and a lot of enthusiasm to dive in. And I just think that the 6 weeks that from learning about this till the time that I went through the 21-day program, for me was not enough. I did 3 days of water fasting and maybe 2.5 days of dry fasting. So I actually went 5 days and a little more while I was here with the support of the team and the people here. And so I'm also now dealing with a part of myself that is shaming, and I'm dealing with disappointment and what others think of me. And I hope that through the work that I've been doing here, that I can address that part of me that cares so much about what other people think. I would have told you before I got here, I don't care what other people think, but I do, more than I would like to admit. And so it was very challenging to write to Sveta today and to meet with the doctor and to admit that I had drank some water, but I knew that this is also about being deeply honest with myself, and not something that I always do. The mind is a very interesting part of me, part of reality. And so as I was trying to surrender and to just make it through, I spent an hour on the phone with my wife, who was saying all the right things. And in the end, chose to drink some water, not in a very good mind state, but I learned a lot. And so the plan moving forward is to exit properly and drink the hot water and the sorbents, and then tonight when I go to bed to start the dry fast again and to take advantage of this valuable time, which looks like it'll be another 5-day dry fast before I leave. And just kind of feeling inside of myself for that commitment again, now that I know what it is. Still haven't eaten any food. So turns out it'll be a 10-day fast from food and 2 5-day dry fasts. I'm not looking forward to it, but I feel like I can do it. I think that's it for now. I guess I'd say to prepare, to really prepare. Do the water fasting, do the 3 and 5-day dry fast at home before you come. I'm learning it is really good preparation, and I did not do that, and I did not do enough of the yoga nidra and the learning how to manage the stress and to manage the resting part, because I have not slept virtually at all for the last 5 days, and that is not good. So the yoga nidra is very important, and resting is very important for this process to work. Today is day 5 of the retreat and day 1 of my second dry fast within the same retreat, and 7 days without eating any food. And I'm finding that there was a little relief in the hot water yesterday, the drinking some water, but that the return to the discomfort of the dry fast comes back pretty quickly. And so this relationship that I'm having with my body is really an interesting and beautiful relationship. I'm getting to know my body and developing a relationship with my body in a way that I didn't know was possible. And the lectures have been really helpful. I never thought I would learn so much about the liver and how important it is to human vitality, and I will certainly be taking much better care of my body, my mind, my heart. I've even learned some things about the heart and different pumps that are in the back of the calf that make walking a really, really important thing to do. And I was averaging about 8.5 miles a day and wanting to do more, and I think I'm starting to hit kind of a lower pace just with my energy when it comes to walking. And although walking has been really cathartic, I've had many walks at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't sleep, and that's where some of the deepest stuff would come up when I was so thirsty and so hungry, that a real reaching towards the spirit of the universe, to God, would occur, and I've had several nights of weeping. I didn't know that tears could come, but it's been really healing to cry and to actually weep through what's in me. And prior to dry fasting, I thought I still believe I was a pretty healthy human being, really strong and sturdy man. And this has brought me to my knees in a way that I don't think I was ready for. So it's very, very humbling. I've been humbled. And I'm appreciative of the humbleness, the humility that's come out of this, because I will take it with me in my life. And I have a men's group that I run, and each of the guys in my group took a day to fast with me. So Dan is fasting for me right now. My wife has been fasting and eating for me, and I don't know, I've got 30 people eating for me, fasting with me. So I just feel really appreciative of friendship, and my wife, my children have been connecting with me while I've been doing this, and I'm still interacting with my mind in a way that's really interesting. What the mind is, I recognize it as a sense that thinks for us, but it can still think really negatively. And I know that energy follows thought, so I'm playing with the idea when those negative thoughts come up to really see it as just some residue that I still have hanging on that's been conditioned into me. And I've also really felt some anger while I've been doing this, just some deep frustration that I have to do this, or that it's something I need to do in my life in order to live a long life, and which I want to do. I want to serve, I want to lead, and give the best of who I am to this planet. And I see this Lyme's disease is shortening that. And I really, really love the planet. God, I've been walking barefoot on the sand, and today outside with the sun and the ocean and the mountains and the prana, I've just been soaking up the prana and drinking in the air. And yeah, it still hurts and it doesn't feel good to be fasting, but there is so many nutrients all around us. And I'm really appreciative that I was taught that and learned that through yoga and learned that from other spiritual teachers. And I'm really appreciative of my teachers, you know, now Sveta and Doctor Filonov and the massage therapists and all of the people here that are doing this extraordinary work are my teachers. And I just feel so much gratitude for all of you for being that for me in my life. So my mind is already getting too far ahead of myself. I'm trying to get back to one moment at a time, one day at a time, but one moment at a time a lot of times. Knowing that this is beneficial for my life, my family, and I'm definitely being initiated into a new state of consciousness, a new state of being human. And dry fasting it's really no joke. It brings the body to a level of discomfort and a level of pain that I didn't know was possible. And at the same time, it's manageable. I'm learning to manage it just a little bit more with help. So here we go on to completing day 1 of this dry fast and into day 2. And there's parts of me that are grateful and there's parts of me that are not. And that's as honest as I can be. Hi, it's day 6 of the retreat and day 2 of my second dry fast. And I didn't sleep much. I didn't sleep at all last night. So I spent a lot of time really praying and trying to do some of what I've learned here, and that's really to go deep into myself and to explore and to lean into the pain and not try to push it away and make it go away, but to not make it wrong or bad. And so some pain and some suffering is really good. I can feel my body changing. I can feel my body healing. And remembering all of my own training as a doctor and all of my own training as a therapist and shaman and clinical hypnotherapist, all these different trainings that I've had. Last night I tried everything I knew to work through being exhausted and tired and wanting to give up, and surrendered over and over and over. And I will continue to do that. And I'm finding myself thinking through in these moments as my organs are cleansing, thinking about each of my children and where my relationship is at with my children, my 24-year-old and 23-year-old, and I have 2 19-year-olds and a 10-year-old. And each one of them I have a different relationship just based on their unique constitution, where they were born in the mix, whether my stepchildren call me their gift dad, so I've got gift children, they call me. And I've been Snapchatting them all and showing them, Montenegro. And this morning it was soothing. I didn't sleep at all to show them the sunrise and how calm the sea was today. And save a cat. Who would have thought I would do that today? There was a cat totally wrapped up in a fishing net, and it was dying. It was choking on the fishing net. And it's amazing. I was asking the locals who don't speak English for help, and that there was a knife right in the tree, right next to where the cat was, and I was able to cut it free. So just a little miracle for today. And I was able to look at the animal and appreciate it, and it stayed there with me for a minute before it took off. So the other thing that happened today was I reached for my mother, and she's been doing distance Reiki on me every single day. I've got a couple of people doing distance Reiki on me, and but I had a moment as I was thinking about her. She had me when she was 17 years old. My parents were teenagers, and where I just really needed my mom. And at 17, she just wasn't there. She had to work, and she was really absent. But I reached towards her in a really vulnerable way, and I just said, I need my mom. And it was different than, I need my wife too, who I was on the phone with last night. She just wants me to get as much of this healing as I can. She wants me for a lifetime, and that kind of love is different than a mother's love. And I got to feel my mother this morning. I'm really grateful for that experience. And my father too. My father fasted yesterday. My mother fasted yesterday. My brother-in-law fasted yesterday for me. And I'm just really grateful to have the people that love me around me as I do the hardest work I've ever done. I thought, some of the things I've done to wake up and to heal up and to grow up in my life, I just thought, I've done that. This takes you to a whole nother level when it comes to waking up and healing up your body. And I have never talked to God and the Spirit more than I have during this week, during this 7-8 days. And I feel like I'm getting closer to knowing who I am at the core of who I am. And I feel like I'm really getting what I'm supposed to do in this world, what I have to offer this planet. And it definitely hurts to go through this, but I'm grateful to have the experience of just shedding and healing another level. And there's so much learning about the liver, and I know that I'm dealing with some ancestral DNA that I acquired through my ancestral lines. My father and grandfather were both really severe alcoholics, and so this work on the liver, I am so committed to cleaning my liver into another level of health to carry with me in life. And that's something I knew we would have lectures, but I didn't know how much I would absorb and how much I would take in and how much I want to apply it in my life. So I am more committed than I've ever been to my nutrition and to healthy eating and to taking really, really good care of my body, every body. So, and I'm feeling now my organs at a mental and emotional and physical and spiritual level. And I know that I'm carrying some deep emotional hurt in my liver that just every bit of this I do, I know I'm healing. So, and I've been talking to my wife. We eat very healthy, and we did put the advanced water system in our house, and I'm just so committed to being a healthy man and to cleaning up. They say that if you do this work, you actually are able to heal generations behind you and in front of you. And I'm so grateful to do this work for my grandmothers and my grandfathers and their grandmothers. I can feel them all here as I come close to starving. You know, I can feel that death and what death feels like. And I'm doing it for my children. I'm really looking forward to, I asked my son, because between a father and son, there's issues that happen even if you love your kids deeply. And there's nothing I haven't done for him. But I asked him, in addition to some of the negative things that have happened between us, what are all of the positive memories that you have of us? And I asked that of both my daughters too. And I just asked them to reflect on that. And I do a lot of that on Snapchat. I think I'm going to write a book called The Snapchat Parent, with the way kids use technology, because I parent a lot on this when kids are in college. So, but overall, I'm hanging in there, and I'll get through another day, and I'm really thankful. Hi, it's day 7 of the retreat and day 1 of my exit, and I've been sleeping all day except for lecture. And I've learned so much about myself and about what dry fasting is. And when I started to experience the symptoms of Lyme's a couple of months ago, I dove deep into the research about how to heal it and started to meet with Western doctors and alternative approaches, and shortly into that process found the research of Doctor Filonov and eagerly started to pursue as much information and knowledge as I could about the process. And shortly after that, met with Dr. Filonov and Sveta, and I was very excited to come without a real knowledge of what dry fasting really entailed. And so it's by far the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of things that have been extremely painful and challenging. And so I'm very internal right now. I'm really exploring kind of how this feels to, first of all, say yes to it, read Michelle Slater's book, get myself to Montenegro by myself, and to travel all the way here. That, to me, that's a feat all by itself. And so in a lot of ways, I'm really proud of myself for what I've done and accomplished. Would I have liked to go to 9 days or beyond? Of course. Some of these nights were just pure hell, to be honest. And to be in that really hellacious feeling for as long as I was really, it's really hard to believe that from the moment that started that I was able to handle more days. And so I really learned a lot of lessons about my mind, about how strong it is, about my body. I was in such deep reflection and internal dialogue with just my body and what it had to say to me. And when it starts to release traumas and emotions from the organs, from wherever they come from, that's an experience all by itself. It's very deeply intimate to get to know your body in this way. And so again, I'm grateful for that. I feel like this process of going deep into the dark and into the hell or the demons, as they say, was deeply cleansing for my human experience. I'm not the same man I was that came here. I am definitely leaving different. And I'm really happy about that. I don't yet know because I'm still kind of in the beginning stage of exiting, but my creativity is already starting. Ideas that I didn't know were there are coming out, and that makes me happy. And my commitment to serving my family, my wife, my parents, the world is higher than it's ever been, even though my energy is so low. As a leader, I know that I'm going to take what I've learned here and I'm going to do really good things with it. And now I know what dry fasting is. And I feel still that for you at home, really prepare. Do everything that's in that 21-day program. And that's the one piece of wisdom that I have as I sit here is 3 days of water fast for me in that 6 weeks, and 2.5 days of dry fasting just did not teach me what I was going to endure here. And so I want to encourage you at home to do the fasting and to follow the 21-day protocol. And I really believe it will set you up. It would have set me up to understand what I was coming into. So I know how to dry fast now. And I believe that the next time I'll have the mental and the emotional and the physical preparation to endure 9 days. And it was very difficult in the middle of the night last night to my body just say, you've done enough. I was trying to discern, is this my body? Is this my ego? What part of me is saying, you've done enough? And I feel like it was a deep connection to God that allowed me to surrender and say, I've had enough. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for actually having the courage to come here and do this. And I also just feel so thankful for Dr. Filonov and for Sveta and all of the, I try to find the word, just a no-nonsense approach to this process. It's one thing to have compassion, it's another thing to have compassion and stay sturdy and strong. And I got a lot of encouragement that way. And I'm also so grateful for the container and the team that was around me. I felt completely safe. I felt like they had me at every moment. And that includes the hotel staff and really everyone that's here that's part of this team. So I'm really grateful for that too. And I'm not looking forward to another 9-day fast, but I know that I have a tool now, my own body, and an approach that leads to healing. And I'm really, really excited, interested to see how this impacted my body and my life. And I'm very committed to fasting at home for the 36 hours and the 3-day fasting at home. And my wife and I have been talking about improving our diet. I've learned so much about the liver and so much about my body from the doctor, and from Sveta, and from others here. So I'm committed to continuing that learning journey and applying as much of it as I can to a life of vitality and longevity and happiness. And even when it isn't happy, to lean into it and be okay with anything that comes up, because everything came up for me here. And I did my best to lean into it and to feel it and to know that I'll survive it. So I wish you all the best on your journey of healing, and I wish my co-participants, my new friends, the best as they complete their 9 days. I am so in awe of watching my people, these people here, go through the entire process. It's the most inspirational thing I have seen And my heart and my love goes out to them, as well as you, when you come to do this. Hi, this is day 8 of the retreat and day 3 of my exit. And each day of the exit, I have felt a little differently each time. And so yesterday I slept a good part of the day, spent a lot of time actually in bed or on a beach chair. And I'm noticing that my body really, really wants to rest. And I'm appreciating my body and loving my body for what it did. And I feel like I've really learned what dry fasting is, and that I've acquired so much knowledge and ability and skills when it comes to it because of the entirety of the whole process. So I really appreciate the exiting protocol, although I still feel like I haven't really eaten anything. The exiting protocol is just very nurturing back into water and food, and overall, I've spent the last few hours talking with family and friends and children, and I feel really loved and supported throughout this whole process. And I think moving forward that I understand my mind a little bit more, what the mind is and how to regulate it. I had some deep weakness come up, and when the body starts to go through the dry fasting process and you start to starve and you start to dehydrate, it can take you into territory in the mind that I've never been in. And so I'm continuing to reflect on kind of what happened to me in this experience. And I think I love myself a lot more. I thought like I love myself, but now there's a deeper intimacy that I have with me. And I really appreciate all of the areas of my life and the commitments I seem to be contemplating and reflecting on every day, which is how am I going to move forward with my health and well-being? And how am I going to move forward with dry fasting and water fasting and my nutrition? And I've thought a lot about my purpose in life and what truth is, what truth means to me, and what my marriage means to me, and what it means to be a father. And I seem to have, as a result of this dry fasting experience, kind of committed doubly to all of the key relationships in my life and to seeing people at a deeper level. And I'm looking forward to seeing how I serve and how I lead, both my family and in my profession and my career. And I don't know, there's something about these key relationships we have in life with our children, with my children, that my heart has just exploded several times, bursted open for the love that I feel for my children, my family, my friends. And it was really beautiful today to start to see the people who are exiting on day 9. Some are going another day, but to feel really happy for them and proud, actually very proud. And I know that the next one for me is going to be, a 7-day fast, and I'm looking forward to doing a 36-hour fast when I get home. And I'm going to really look at my calendar, and I'm going to look at the days and find a day that really works for that fast. And I'm going to co-create that with my wife and our family. And all in all, I'm just enjoying now resting. And I don't think I really knew just how hard I was running, building a business. But going through this dry fasting experience and learning about the nervous system and how it's wired, this has really illuminated how hard I work and how much more balance and rest that I want to have in my life. So that's another priority. When I look at my calendar on a weekly basis, I'm going to prioritize more balance and more rest in my life. And I think I understand what yoga nidra is, and I want to dive deeper into that. So that's something that was new to me. And I read a book on that on the plane on the way here and did some of the exercises in the 21-day program. But that is very deep, the space we go to when we sleep and learning how to rest. So I'm feeling grateful, feeling tired, and really looking forward to seeing my family and reconnecting with my children and family. And I think that's all I have for now.